Hi, I'm Captain Marcus Harrelson with docsfishingclinic and Guide Service. I hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the misconceptions I get a lot of the times or questions I get about saltwater fly fishing. Saltwater fly fishing is a lot of fun, but it can definitely be frustrating and hard at times. The number one misconception I get is tailing redfish. People think that tailing redfish are like everywhere. I've had clients show up and you see fish and you're calling out fish 20 feet, 2 o'clock, or 30 feet, 1 o'clock, stuff like that. And they're looking, but they're not making the cast and you're trying to figure out why. And sometimes they're waiting for that tail to come up. And that's not always the case in fly fishing, especially chasing reds. Tailing redfish is definitely a rarity. It doesn't happen all the time. It has a lot to do with food selection, water temps, tidal movement, a bunch of different things. So when you come out and you're stalking fish, a lot of the times you're not going to see them tailing. If you do, that's a special thing and you should be really stoked about it and kind of take it in for a minute and kind of just enjoy that moment. When you do see tailing fish forever, the great thing about that is it kind of gives them away at a distance. You could be pulling a big glassy flat, look out, and all of a sudden you see a bunch of tails start coming up and waving to you at a distance.
Don't move though.
And those little golden flags are calling you over to come catch them. So when you do see that, I would say that gives you a good opportunity to see them out at a distance, to be able to pick up on and kind of get your idea where they're at faster. And then two, it kind of gives you a good idea which way their head's pointing, and it gives you a good shot like angle and location. Misconception number 2. This is a big one, and I get this a lot, especially from people that watch YouTube and Instagram, and it's funny this is on YouTube, but whatever. One of the misconceptions I get all the time that redfish are easy to catch. There's a lot of people that have come from the bass fishing world and like rivers and lakes, and they've had a lot of aggressive eats with say like bass or smallies or something, and they think redfish are the same, or they come to the salt and they have one good experience. There's 365 days in the year, and you spend 1 or 2 days on the water and they're great. That can't be your deciding factor. That's not what red fishing is like by any means. It's extremely hard. Most days we have 20 to 30 fly changes in the summertime when the temperatures get hot. You're waiting for tidal movement. You're changing casting directions due to shadows from the sun and stuff like that they're spooking. The wintertime, you have to worry about airboat traffic from duck hunters, getting there at 4 in the morning and destroying a flat before you even know, and you show up and the sun's up and you're like, why are these fish acting weird and spooky? Well, that's probably why. So there's a lot of factors out there that can make redfish aggressive or not aggressive, and a lot of it has nothing to do with you. Almost, actually, none of it has anything to do with you unless you're a really bad caster or you tie ugly, ugly flies. The third misconception I get all the time about fly fishing is that you need to be able to cast 60 and 70 feet to be successful when you're going after a redfish or blackdrum. This is so not the case. Most of the time, I would say our shots are extremely close. I would say if you're on the bow of the skiff and you're looking out, I would say at your feet, when I say at your feet, I mean look straight down within a couple inches of you, to 20 to 25 feet are typically the shots we take. A lot of that has to do with me as the guide waiting to call fish or put you in the right angles and directions to let you know that fish is there when it's closer to you, versus calling a fish out that's 100 feet, 100 yards away and like, oh, there's a redfish out there. And that's really not setting you up for that much success. So I usually wait till I get a little bit closer, 50 feet, 60 feet, see the fish, call it out to you, and let you get ready and be successful without having to do a bunch of false casting and unnecessary casting at a fish that you can't even cast to anyway at 100 feet. With that being said, saltwater fly fishing is a lot of fun. It is extremely frustrating though at times, and I would say just be patient and try different techniques and styles. Say pay attention to tidal movement, wind, and water temperature. That has a lot to do with it too. And one thing I'd say, if you're out there looking for redfish and you're having a really hard time If you're not seeing pods of mullets, stingrays, and crabs, crustaceans, stuff like that on the shoreline edge or wherever you're at, I'd probably get up and move to a different spot. Typically, when we are finding redfish that are feeding or more active, I'm usually seeing a couple of rays on an edge. I'm seeing bait fish, maybe some like silver-sided minnows like flashing in the grass. Things like that are ways that I really know like how alive a flat is. If you go to a flat and you're pulling around and looking for fish and you're not seeing any movement of bait or not seeing stingrays, I would say the odds of a bunch of redfish being on there are very slim, if at all. Anyway, I hope this stuff helps you guys, and enjoy.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
That thing is just rotted. Good job.